everyone! Today I'm going to show you how to paint this bright, colourful T-Rex using acrylic paints. This is a sped up version of the tutorial, so if you want to paint along with me in real time with full step-by-step instructions, you can find the full-length video over on my Patreon. I'll add a link below. If you join me on Patreon, you'll get instant access to all of my full-length art tutorials. We're going to start with the background. You can choose any colour you like. I went with a deep dark shade of blue to make the bright colours of the dinosaur really pop. I also added a slight gradient with the middle a little bit lighter than the edges, and I used a sponge to blend the shades together. Once that's dry, it's time for some fun paint splatters. I used a few bright colours, added a little bit of water to get the right consistency, and then I splattered it onto the canvas with a brush. If you want to learn my favourite splatter technique, where I explain exactly how to do this, I've linked a quick video tutorial for that down below. Then we can start painting the eye. I like to keep animal eyes a bit more realistic, even in really colourful pieces. It adds a touch of realism that helps bring the whole painting to life, so I'm using more realistic colours here. My favourite part is always painting the little highlight in the eye. It's such a small detail, but it makes a huge difference. From there we can move on to the mouth. It's mostly quite dark, especially towards the back, so I used a deep browny shade of red, getting a little bit lighter as we move forward. I also painted around where the teeth will go using a small brush so that we know exactly where to paint them later. I've uploaded a reference image and a line drawing to the full tutorial on Patreon, so you can follow along and know exactly where to place the shadows, highlights and features. Now we can paint the teeth. They're small, so take your time and use a fine pointed brush. You'll want to avoid using pure white and instead mix in some grey and brown for some more natural tones. The teeth closer to the front are brighter, while the ones further back are in shadow. That contrast helps to add depth and will help to make the dinosaur look more three-dimensional. You can also add tiny highlights to each tooth for extra detail and contrast. Now comes the best part, adding the bright colours. This is where you can really have fun and get creative. Keep your light source in mind so that you know where to place the lighter or darker colours. I usually go with warm tones like yellows and oranges in the sunlit areas, and cooler tones like blues and purples in the shadows. Just make sure your shadows are dark and your highlights are bright, and you can use pretty much any colour you like. Just be careful with blending colours that are opposites on the colour wheel, like pink and green for example, as you might end up with a muddy brown colour. I've made a separate video all about colour mixing, and I've linked to that below as well if you want more help with choosing and mixing colours. So if you're using opposite colours near to each other, just try not to blend them together too much. For the first layer, I like to block in the colours with thick brush strokes. Don't worry about adding details just yet, just mark out where each colour goes. We'll come back later and add the scaly texture and refine the details in the second layer. Once the first layer is dry, we can start to add texture. I'm using a small pointed paintbrush and adding lots of tiny dots and dabs to suggest scales. This technique gives a detailed look without having to paint every single scale individually. Just follow the colours you added in the first layer, but this time using the dabbing technique to make it look scaly. In colourful pieces like this, contrast is key, so don't be afraid to darken your shadows and brighten your highlights to really make the painting pop. Continue to build up that scaly texture across the entire dinosaur until the whole painting is finished. I hope this video was helpful. If you'd like to paint along with me in real time, then just head over to my Patreon, which is Rachel Froud Art, and you can get instant access to all of my full art tutorials. Thanks so much for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe to see more colourful art videos like this.